The judge gave me a very stern talking to. He called me names, degraded me in front of the whole courtroom. But he assured me that if I didn't make it, he said, you will come back in front of my bench and you will do every year that you're exposed to based on their plea agreement. Now get out of my courtroom. And I did. And thankfully, I never saw him again. Until, coincidentally, he showed up at a tree lot to buy a Christmas tree. I'd already done my 2 years. I was clean. I wasn't exposed to that prison term anymore. And I was the cashier at a tree lot. And he walked up and I recognized him and he handed me a check, and that's when I knew it was him. And I said, Judge, do you remember me? And he didn't, and I reminded him who I was, and then he did. And I thanked him for the opportunity and told him that I'd fulfilled the obligation that he demanded that I fulfill, and that I decided to stay to help other people that were in as much trouble as I was. And he asked me to come outside, and I did, and he shook my hand and gave me a hug. And that's the last time I saw him. It was crazy. True story.
We have a correctional system that's based on the assumption that most of what people need in order to change is more motivation. So if we create a really aversive situation for them that they'll want to avoid at all costs in the future, then they'll change. And that's fine if you've got somebody who's screwing up but has the skills to do something different. If what you have is not a problem of motivation but a problem of ability, the people just don't know how to live a sober life or an orderly life or an honest life. If they just have no experience doing that, you can motivate the heck out of them, but they're going to keep recycling back through the system over and over again.
I did a 2-year prison term. I got out for 60 days. 5-year prison term, got out for 59 days. 6-year prison term, got out for 4 months, and then a 10-year prison term and got out for 4 months. And now I'm looking at 29 years. I probably wasn't going to come home.
And that's what we have today, is a revolving door. And it's expensive and doesn't work.
It's hideous to think that incarceration is going to solve these problems.
There's nothing that changes in prison. The only thing that changes, and this doesn't even change, the drugs aren't even gone.
All you're doing is taking somebody that has a flaw in their character and their ability to live a normal life, addiction, and then you're sending them in there and teaching them ways to support that addiction by committing other crimes. All you're doing is exacerbating the problem.
Probably 80% go back. I know I did 100% of the time.
The long-term goal of the Other Side Academy is that every single person on the planet who is ready to change their life has the tools to do it.
There really is no comparison. You're almost guaranteed of recidivism if you go to prison. I mean, I think it's, some people say it's 70 or 80%. It's almost the exact opposite of the figures that I just gave you for our success rate.
Wanting to change, saying that is easy. But when those times arise, those tough times, and actually putting in the work and swallowing your pride and doing the things necessary to change, paints the horse a whole nother color.
When you get strung out on heroin, and it's just all consuming, you can't do anything. I mean, you just completely taken hostage by it. You wake up in the morning and you're got to just go and get your fix. I knew I was stuck. I knew I was in big trouble.
I stole from everybody under the sun. I'd borrow money from the neighbors. I'd lie to whoever I could to continue to get high and fulfill my need. It was a horrible way to live, horrible way.
When I was using cocaine, I would have nosebleeds from snorting so much, and all those kind of health implications, and I would try to quit. I would talk to myself in the mirror and swear I was going to quit, and I'd throw my dope away, and I'd break my paraphernalia, and I'd throw it in a trash can and go to sleep and be so proud of myself, and in the morning I'd get up and dig the stuff out of the trash again.
The basic problem is not addiction. The real problem is disconnection. People don't know how to live in an ordered, high-integrity, honest life with other people. And it takes a long time to learn that if you've been a long time practicing something that's the opposite of it. And so the current thing doesn't work because it's too short. It doesn't work because it's not credible. It doesn't work because oftentimes it's designed based on a funding model rather than the need of the participants.
Most people who go to your 30-day and 60-day and 90-day spin dry programs, they're called that because you're going in and out of them repeatedly. They're very, very low success rate. Maybe 10, 20% learn what they need to learn in one of those programs and succeed, but very few.
You can use the ball joke again if it's important to you.
About 10 years ago, as part of my professional research, I became familiar with just a remarkable place that's taken this therapeutic community concept and made it about as perfect as you possibly can.
Under normal circumstances, I usually have Alan doing the secretarial work.
There's a complicated answer and there's a simple answer. But the short answer to the question of why this works is because it's long and it's real.
Their approach there and the way things were being done there were giving me more results than any other place I had ever been.
People started to trust me, and that made me feel good.
I was learning how to be more like, you know, the kind of people in my life that I admired and respected and were role models to me.
It allows you to stay in a mode of practicing new behaviors until they go to the marrow of your bone. And sometimes that takes years and years. Some people will stay at the Other Side Academy for 4 or 5 years, sometimes longer. But they stay as long as it takes until they get it, rather than until the funding runs out.
I started believing in myself again.
And I realized I can do this. And then when some of those bigger responsibilities were given to me and I was doing a good job, that made me feel good. So I started to believe in myself.
And I thought, you know, I can do this. And I think I can do this without getting in so much trouble.
Now I am honest.
I'm a hardworking, loyal person.
I'm a person that has integrity.
I'm motivated, determined. I'm a hard worker.
I love helping other people. It's become a labor of love for me. I feel like it's something that I'm good at.
I'm a person that takes my word seriously.
I'm kind, compassionate, loving.
And I'm a person that's about something.
And that set a whole sort of chain of events in motion that then captured my imagination and my wife's such that we realized this needs to be here.
Welcome to the Other Side Academy. This is the front of our home. This is probably where a lot of the potential students or residents will come initially, but of course we'll ask them to go around to the other side. That'll be actually the entrance where the bench is at.
Humbling, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about what we might be able to achieve.
This is where we'll park all of our Other Side Academy vehicles as well as our own. We're getting proposals to get the roof done. We're going to get the entire roof repaired. If you were here last Saturday, this whole half of the tree covered the, I don't know, this whole part of the parking lot. Got up into the tree, brought it all down, and about 8 hours later we were all dead to the world, tired, and we still have some of the bigger rounds here we need to get picked up. This is basically the front of our home. So this room is called the parlor. We make this room our office space. The moving company would be based out of here. Finance would be based out of here. Our legal department would be based out of here. We just set up a desk in whatever way would work the best and have our offices here.
This is what we call the freshman dorm.
So this room is going to serve as our quorum. Right now we're just trying to get all these rooms ready. This one happens to be mine. And we're getting everything cleaned up, all the window seals, the little refrigerator, cleaning up in the bathroom, getting the floors clean, the walls clean, all of these walls clean, window seals clean, the windows clean, the carpet clean, just get everything ready for people to move in. That's what we're doing now.
Is this the final draft that we're going to be using to send out to people that are inquiring about?
I haven't seen it yet.
Take a look at it and see what you...
The Other Side Academy is a non-profit, re-educational facility for men and women who have hit rock bottom, usually from a lifetime of addiction and criminal behavior, who now want to learn a better way to live. The Academy is available for these men and women pre- and post-sentencing.
Of all the people that enter, I'd say 80, maybe 85% make it to 2 years. Of all those who make it to 2 years and graduate at 2 years, 60 or 70% go on to live productive lives.
It's kind of like we know the cure for cancer but are just keeping it a secret. We've known for decades how to help people to literally transform their lives, but just haven't made it accessible to the millions and millions who need it. And that's what we want to do at the Other Side Academy.
We believe that changing from the outside in is a good place to start.
You know, we're going to take that image that you have of yourself and we're going to take it away from you.
We're not going to let you grow the mohawk. We're not going to let you grow the Fu Manchu mustache. We're not going to let you do all those things that you associated with prior to getting there.
We're going to let you build a new image, but your image is going to be built from you going forward, not who you thought you were when you got there.
The core things that you cannot do that will get you expelled from the Other Side Academy are violence, threats of violence, or use of drugs or alcohol. Those things will get you kicked out.
Zero tolerance. Obviously, if there was any violence, you're gone. If there's any drug use or alcohol use, you're gone.
Everything else we can help you with. After all, those are the things that got you in trouble to begin with.
When you do the right thing and you're participating and you're changing and you're applying yourself, there are rewards that come along with that.
If you desire to become a member of TOSA and you are in jail, you can write us a letter. We'll come and interview you. If you want to become a member of the Other Side Academy and you're not in jail, you can just walk in for an interview. That's the first step.
We want to see if the person is willing and is at a point in their life where they're really ready to do whatever it's going to take.
Do you care about your family no matter how badly you've treated them? Do you care about yourself, or have you given up?
What I'm looking for in the interview is a soul. It's amazing how many years I did in prison and it never taught me to tell the truth. Get to a place like the Other Side Academy where my peers hold me accountable and I can't get away with anything, and I learned everything I had forgotten.
So the first business will be a moving company. That one's important because it's an opportunity for people with very little skill to start with to just work really hard and stay out of their heads, which is a dangerous place to be for the first few months.
You know, if you're lazy, we're going to teach you to work.
Doing the right thing over and over again. It's so subtle, but all those little subtle experiences, they build up and you just start to feel different.
You may not graduate from the Other Side Academy and go get a job at a moving company or go to a restaurant and get a job as a culinary artist. You may go get a job someplace that you've always wanted to work prior to you destroying your life. So it's more important than the actual job skills you learned at the Other Side Academy. It's the fact that you learned how to learn. That you learned how to get up every day, go to work, have a good attitude, do as you're asked, go to bed and do it again the next day. So you can leave and go get a job anywhere you want and you'll be a success.
This isn't about what anybody deserves. If you and I live in a world where we only get what we deserve, nobody ever gets better. And so the real question here is, what are we willing to do? What is the expression of who we are that we're willing to offer? And what is it worth to save a life?
In my case, I didn't even get help till I was 50. I didn't leave until I was 56. And so that's why I'm so motivated to be a part of the Other Side Academy and bring this type of therapeutic community and this ability to fix what I couldn't fix for 37 years to other people so they don't have to wind up 50 before they get help.
I don't think there's anything else in the world more important than the work that we're about to do in taking people and helping them change their lives that were absolutely incapable of changing their own. To be able to provide them with someplace safe to go so that they could get the help they need, just like myself and the rest of my team.
I mean, we're living proof that, you know, you can stop living the way that you're living and there's another way to life. It doesn't have to be the way it's been for so long.
There is absolutely nothing sweeter than seeing somebody who was entirely lost become a wonderful, contributing, and productive member of society. And that will happen time and time and time again at the Other Side Academy.
I don't know that there is a more worthy cause. GE builds electronics, Ford builds cars. The Other Side Academy rebuilds lives. Which one has more value?